Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk, back again with you guys for another show, for another episode of our Arsenal transfer show, our 8 a.m. show in which we cover all the latest Arsenal transfer news. You join us for episode 69. Get all your jokes out now that, of course, this would be the first show in which Arsenal have actually confirmed a signing. Of course, we did do a show yesterday when the signing of Tavares came out. However, that was before the announcement, and so this is the official first show that we've had a signing. It's, I don't know what I thought I'd feel like. I thought I might feel euphoric. I thought I might feel enlightened. I thought it might be an epiphany for me, to be honest. But all that it fills me is a sense of wow, I did 68 shows before we signed a player. That doesn't fill me with hope. That doesn't fill me with excitement. That doesn't fill me with anything other than, oh my God, yeah, unreal, really. I can't believe it took 69 episodes before we can ask the club to just bring us something. Of course, and people go, oh, well, the transfer window's only been open for 11 days officially, but it hasn't. It's been open for a lot longer than that from a UK perspective, and it's been open for Arsenal really to make signings way before that. I mean, if you think about, clubs can make signings really whenever they like. They just can't register those players until that point. And Arsenal have gone about things rather, I don't want to say slow, because, as I say, it is only 11 days into the continental window, but it's not been fast. Let's be honest. It's not been fast. It's fair to say. But what it does mean is that we do open our 69th show and our first show on a Sunday. And when it's a Sunday, what we do on a Sunday every single week? We have a little bit of fun, is what we do. And we kick off the show, as always, with our ITK rater. Thank you so much to everyone that's been sending in your favourite ITK tweets. It has just become a real it's been a bit of a cultural phenomenon, to be honest, on the social media. It's been absolutely great to see so many of you calling out. And when I say calling out, I mean just sending them in, because the whole point of this is you send them in, you mute them, you block them, you move on. I don't. Because otherwise I wouldn't see half the ones you sent me. But that's what you should be doing. Don't buy into them. Don't tweet them. Don't send them abuse. Ignore them. Do not give them that attention they crave. Only I am the hypocrite. Me. I'm the hypocrite here. I highlight them. Everyone else, you block them. That's how it works. Anyway, let's just round off the rules before we kick into the Sunday ITK rater. Always ways to check if you're being ITK'd. Is, first of all, the account verified? Is the follow account suspicious? Is it below 10,000? Is a good kind of number to check. Is it information that can be disproved? I mean, can you cross-reference it with any other sources that are more legit? Are they hostile to accounts claiming that they're fake? If anyone says to them, you don't know what you're talking about, or what's your source, bro, or things like this, and they reply, or they just take personal exception to it, they're probably fakes. That's a big red flag. And finally, has the info been reported or touted elsewhere? Are they stealing the info from someone else and just rewording it in a different way? Without further ado, let's go for our top 5 of this week. You got some returning factors, which is great, but we start off with AFC Domain on Twitter that says, and this was tweeted at 10:49 last night, James Maddison wants to join Arsenal. A bid will be made soon to sign the Leicester playmaker. He has been offered the number one, that'd be weird, wouldn't it? The number 10 shirt too. This came just hours after the Bell had tweeted out his or her tweet, we don't know who the Bell is, tweet about, of course, James Maddison, about possible interest from Arsenal about that case. So obviously you then get the ITKs jumping on the bandwagon, trying to get a little bit of the clout, and AFC Domain has certainly done that. Moving on to David Dean FC, which is a fantastic ITK name. It says, confirmed, Edu made an inquiry about the availability of Leeds versatile midfielder Calvin Phillips. Phillips, who can also play at centre-back and centre midfield, has attracted the interest of many big clubs following his impressive displays in the Euros for England. Now, this is one of those ITK accounts that tries to be first. There haven't been too many, if any, links to Calvin Phillips whatsoever. Arsenal are looking at a central midfielder. It is all the hope in the world that Arsenal could, get linked to Calvin Phillips, in which case expect to see a tweet from this account going, I told you first. That's usually what happens, usually a case in point. People have done it all the time. It's very easy to guess kind of some transfer targets that Arsenal might have. On yesterday's show with Sophie, I showed you an article that I wrote back in June, at the start of June 2nd, I think it was, a whole article about how you should avoid being ITK'd and stuff like that. And I used an example in there of how easy it was to kind of come up with rumours. And I said that an example of a fictional link that you might see in the future is Bellerin being linked to Inter Milan. Lo and behold, a month later, Bellerin's being linked to Inter Milan. Was I sitting on Twitter going, oh, Arsenal interested in selling Bellerin to... No, because it was very obvious that was going to happen. You could see it happening. Don't be fooled. We then move on to Jez. Jez, AFC96, says Leicester have accepted an offer from Arsenal for James Maddison. Fee rumoured to be around 85 million plus add-ons. Personal terms already agreed, and the player is expected to complete a medical in Colney on Tuesday. I love this. This is confidence at its finest. We have got a situation here where we can actually get a measure of when this deal could happen. So Tuesday, Jez, we'll be watching. And finally, I think this is our last one. It might be AFC Things on Twitter. Oh, it's our second to last one. It says Arsenal and Onana had agreed personal terms at the start of the window with the intention of including the deal near the end of the window. It appears that 5 European clubs have shown serious interest in Onana, which may now force Arsenal to move quicker than expected. This is a classic case of information coming out a little bit later on that contradicts information that was said previously. What can we say to save our face? And we've attempted to do that here. So AFC Things, take a good look at yourself. And finally, our favourite. I think Simon's going to become our favourite ITK of the summer transfer window. May get a fair few people blocking him and muting him, but Simon, I mean, fair play for your commitment, son. Hussein Awar with the hourglass and clock emoji. That is, top class. Top class. Not only that, but we've got ticks and crosses at the same time, claiming that not only have personal terms, agent fees, player signing on fee, the actual fee, and the agreement between the player and Arsenal and Leon has been made. All of those things have supposedly happened. But also pointing out, and this is my favourite part of the whole thing, because those that are long-time listeners of the show will know that there's been a running joke about my absolute dislike of anyone calling Atletico Madrid Atletico Madrid, because it is not Atletico Madrid, it is Athletic Club, as in you may know them better as Athletic Bilbao, but it's Athletic Club and Atletico Madrid. Oh, dearie me. Oh, that I had to include that one because it was just so annoying. So annoying. Anyway, that does include all of our ITK raters of the day. Thank you so much for everyone that's been sending in your favourite ITKs. It's almost like I'm like the Arsenal ITK Blue Peter edition is what this has become. For those that are in the UK and know what I'm talking about, Blue Peter was a show that used to be around ages ago. I don't know if it's still going. When you were kids, it used to be like, send in your pictures of a fridge. Like that's what it would be. And now it's send in your favourite ITK tweets and we'll send you a TGT badge. I should get loads of little TGT ITK rater little badges to send out. That would be a great idea. Anyway, let's move on to the main news stories of the day, the genuine news stories of the day. First of all, of course, a massive congratulations to Lionel Messi and Demi Martinez on winning the Copa America. Amazing achievement. First trophy in a ridiculous amount of years. And Lionel Messi winning his first one for Argentina. Amazing achievement for them, and congratulations to all of the squads in beating Brazil in a very controversial time for that tournament to go ahead. Could history repeat itself? Another nation trying to win its first international trophy for decades and decades and decades. Well, tonight we will find out as Bukayo Saka and his England teammates will take on Italy in the Euro 2020 final. I am absolutely buzzing for this. It is going to be a nervous 90-plus minutes. Fingers crossed England can do it. I know a lot of you who are not English will not be wanting England to win. There may be even a fair few of you that are English that also don't want England to win. I know a fair few of English people that I know certainly don't, for whatever reason that I really can't make sense of. But I know about, obviously, the dislike of the English national team from abroad. I don't care. I'm English. I want England to win. I would love it. It'd be an amazing achievement. And they're a much more likable squad, in my opinion. than we've seen in the past. And of course, we've got our little Chile involved as well. So best of luck to Bukayo Saka. Bring it home, lads, and good luck. Let's move on to our actual transfer stories. Of course, we did and have now confirmed a signing, which is great news. It's great news no matter what you think of the player, because it kicks us off. It just kind of kicks off the summer properly for Arsenal. Seeing a player with the shirt held up on the website is everything that we've been asking for, we've needed. Yes, it's only a backup player. Yes, it's only squad depth. Yes, it's questionable around the actual player himself. I have my reservations. You can go watch plenty of the shows that we've done on him so far on the channel. But Tavares, who is pronounced correctly, is looking very much likely to be, he's guaranteed to be now. Kieran Tierney's backup for next season. Kolasinac, then what happens to him does not seem to be all too certain. We should get the squad details for the Scottish pre-season tour out very soon and find out who's going to be taking that trip. Moving on to Granit Xhaka. Now, information from Italy. We've been saying this for days about the reports basically saying that it's closed, that Roma are closing in. All of those reports that have been emerging from Italy. Yesterday, reports emerged that Granit Xhaka specifically has, or rather is struggling to get this move to Roma done, because Arsenal are not budging on their 20 million valuation of Xhaka. At this rate, Xhaka is going absolutely nowhere unless Roma stump up the cash, or anyone else for that matter. Anyone else could come in for Granit Xhaka at this point. He seemingly wants the Roma move, from what we're hearing about the reports from his perspective, from the interviews that he's been doing as well, very much hinting towards this move. But Arsenal are holding firm on their valuation, and you have to say, fair play, Arsenal. Hold out for that price. Get the money that you deserve to get for him. And it's not even what I think his true value is. I think it's more than 20 million euros. But it's great to see Arsenal are playing hardball on this. Keep him. If he doesn't go anywhere, then fine. We'll just keep him until someone pays the right price, and Xhaka can deal with that if he doesn't get his move. So we move. Going on to our next story, and Eddie Nketiah. Supposedly Crystal Palace, now managed by Patrick Vieira, are interested in taking Eddie Nketiah to Selhurst Park. Now, the quoted figure from the sources said that this is around £20 million, according to those reports that came out yesterday. 20 million quid for Eddie Nketiah would be an incredible achievement, considering the fact he's got 1 year left on his deal at Arsenal, and let's be real, has not particularly impressed at Arsenal. He's not really solidified kind of a future at the club. He hasn't been able to take the opportunities given to him. And I just don't really see him as a future Arsenal prospect. So to get 20 million quid from Nketiah would be an unbelievable achievement from the club's perspective. Going on to Emile Smith-Rowe. Interesting, James Benge yesterday saying that Emile Smith-Rowe and Arsenal, there's increasing confidence of a new contract being signed. So yes, very soon you'll be able to send your images of Smith-Rowe signing his new deal to all of the Aston Villa fans that have been giving you grief on social media. For me, there has been a lot. So I look forward to seeing the images of him signing that brand new contract. Fingers crossed that should be happening very, very soon. And now he's back at London Colney in training. It becomes much easier to get that sorted out and done. So we should be able to see, fingers crossed, a brand new signing for the Smith, as he is now going to be known forevermore. And if he does sign that new deal, we will get our members the Smith emoji. Moving on to Andre Onana himself. Obviously, Andre Onana came up during our ITK roundup. News came out yesterday that Lyon are now very much the favourites to sign Onana. It does very much seem as if he wanted guarantees about being a starting goalkeeper at Arsenal, and they couldn't guarantee him that, from the fact that Bernd Leno is very much the keeper and doesn't look like he's going to be going anywhere next season. So it therefore makes sense that the likes of Lyon are pushing for a deal to sign him to be their number one. The fact he's so cheap and will be able to play from November makes a lot of sense, especially for a French club, because the French clubs are obviously suffering a fair few financial difficulties because of the pandemic and the Media Pro TV rights and TV deals situation that's had to deal with that too. So Andre Onana, I wouldn't get your hopes up about coming to Arsenal. There you go. Going on to Sambi Lokonga now. Lokonga arrived in London yesterday to undergo his quarantine period. His medical was done in what we believe to be is the Netherlands, because that's where they were with their training camp. But he is now, according to Sasha Tavalieri, arrived in London, where he will now go through the same quarantine period as Tavares. Interestingly, I said to you guys yesterday I would be very shocked if Sambi Lokonga ended up going on the Scottish pre-season tour, and it does seem to be the case that he will not travel to Scotland because he will be going through the quarantine period. And then, of course, he could be selected to go to the Florida pre-season tour, and that is where we will most likely first see him play in an Arsenal shirt, which is going to be absolutely fantastic to see. So look forward to seeing that deal get completed because it's, effectively done. We're just waiting for the announcement officially now and the quarantine period to end. Going on to Ben White, the Brighton centre-back. Again, reports came out yesterday that there is ever-increasing confidence that Arsenal, after the European Championships are done today, will get this done and will agree a fee with Brighton. Ever-increasing confidence, it seems, in this deal to Arsenal. Get it done. Get the move done. I've been talking about this deal for so long now, it's becoming a little bit boring. I just want to see him in an Arsenal shirt. Just want to see Ben White come in because it'd be a great signing for the club and really solidify kind of two centre-back positions with White and Gabriel really sorted. So that will be really great to see. But ever-increasing confidence that this deal will get done. Final story of the day does revolve around James Maddison. Now, we mentioned during the ITK roundup, of course, that some people have jumped on the back of a tweet from the AFC Belt, now verified, of course, as well. So it ticks one of our ITK boxes. Has tweeted out about Arsenal's interest in the player, that they see it as a file that could get done, that they have confidence that should they go for him, there is kind of the feedback from Maddison's camp that they would be open to a deal happening, and no one's really told anyone otherwise that it's not going to happen this summer. Now, we did do a tactical breakdown on James Maddison. We spoke to Rob Tanner of The Athletic, who told us that Leicester tend to only let go of one big signing every single summer. Last year, it was obviously Ben Chilwell going to Chelsea. Season before that, we saw Harry Maguire going to Manchester United. We've then seen Mahrez go to Man City, Kante go to Chelsea. So they tend to only really let go of one big player every single summer, and then they will keep hold of the rest. Now, Yuri Tielemans is the other main target of other clubs like Liverpool, although saying that, Liverpool are supposedly, according to news that came out yesterday, looking at Saul from Atletico Madrid. And so therefore, if they get Saul in, they'll very much likely not push for a move for Yuri Tielemans. It doesn't mean that other clubs may come in for Tielemans, but should Tielemans then stay, then James Maddison is very much likely to be the one signing, if they do let any go, to go during this summer window. So that's important. The Tielemans and Maddison things are linked, so make sure you keep an eye on reports revolving around the Belgian midfielder as well. It's a story to keep track of, story to keep hold of. Don't buy into too many of your ITKs trying to fool you with bids or talks or agreement in fees. There's just interest. That's all it is so far. No bids, nothing like that, nothing agreed, nothing at all. So that is it. No news on Aouar, if you were wondering either. Nothing has changed from what we've seen over the last few days. Nothing new in that area. So that concludes all of our news of the day for our 69th transfer show. We move on to the second part of the show, which is, of course, getting your thoughts and feelings in the chat box. If you haven't already, please do drop a like on the video. We've been trying to get over 100 likes on every single show that we're doing, so please do try and do that immediately, and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here so you never miss a show. You've missed, where have you been? You've missed 68 shows. You've joined us for the 69th one. God knows why, but make sure you join us from the 70th and beyond. Let's go into the chat box then and seeing what you guys are saying. Mohit says, has DePaul already joined Atletico? Yes, he has. Joined Atletico Madrid. He is certainly someone that we were supposedly interested in. That likely means that he's Saul's replacement. And so Saul is most likely to move on this summer, Liverpool being supposedly the main target of their window. Matt G says, my issue with the Bell is that he says a lot without actually saying anything. Maddison is our top target and are looking at putting an offer in. We are looking for a number 10. It's not rocket science. Yes. And obviously that always is going to fill us with doubt around the likelihood of whether or not this is true. But the Partey thing will always come back, and it will always be, well, they got that right, so they must have some connected sources, which I'm sure they do. And so it makes sense to believe the Maddison stuff as well. Javier, do not spam my chat, especially not with that. Ollie says, Tom and Harry, the Messi and Ronaldo of Arsenal content. Yeah, please do go check out Chronicles of Gooner. Harry's doing some amazing work over there. Damien says, do you think we are underestimating the effect of the pandemic on transfer fees? Personally, I think people are expecting way too much for players like Xhaka and Bellerin. I mean, for me, Xhaka's worth a lot more than 20 million euros. And just because of the pandemic doesn't mean that you have to then pay a price that's less than half that figure. I want Arsenal to try and get 20 million euros. I understand what you're saying, Damien, about the effect of the pandemic on clubs. But if anything, 20 million euros is already a discounted price because of the pandemic. So with Hector Bellerin, 20 million euros, again, I'd say he's worth more than that, to be honest, as a Premier League proven right back. I think he'd be worth more. So for me, I agree with you, but for those two specific examples, I'm not as on board as I would be for other possible departures. Ben P says, I know we've spoken about players that have impressed you during the Euros, but has there been any during the Copa America? If you've not been able to watch, I haven't not been able to watch any of the Copa America. With doing these shows at like 8 a.m., I've not been able to watch the games that have gone on. I obviously didn't even get to stay out to watch the Copa America final. Woke up this morning, first thing I did, went on my phone to see if Argentina had won, praying they had, and indeed they did. So I haven't not been able to watch any of it, Ben, but if anyone in the chat box has been watching it and can suggest some players, please do throw them into there. But no, apologies, I can't give you any names from the tournament because I have not been seeing any of it so far. Nimish says, Max Aarons, Nuno Tavares, Lokonga, Basuma, Maddison is the minimum we need, in my opinion. I mean, that would be a really good window other than a backup goalkeeper being missing. I mean, for me, a backup goalkeeper, a backup midfielder, a backup left back in Nuno, in Lokonga, and maybe a Johnston. And then if you sign Max Aarons, Basuma, and Maddison, that's an unbelievably good window. Now, that's a ridiculously good window. That's a good 9 to 9.5 out of 10 windows. Yeah, that would be brilliant. Roshan says, there's 90k account named Gooner Talk on Twitter that got exposed by Awar himself. I mean, it's ironic because, yeah, I know there is a Gooner Talk Twitter account that's not me, so I don't think it's me. It isn't. I know that account has, it's not legit. I know that for a fact, and I can tell you that for a fact that it's not legit. Ivan says, is William Saliba going to pre-season with Arsenal? I doubt it. It very much looks like he's going to be agreeing that deal with Marseille from the looks of things. But there's no new real developments from that deal other than what we've heard from a couple of days ago. But the Marseille deal does look all the more likely still to happen, despite them bringing in a centre-back, which will confuse me a bit, because will that then limit Saliba's opportunities, because they're going to be bringing in Luan Perez from Santos. So we'll wait and see. Satya Brett says, what an incredible couple of years Emi has had, becoming a father soon, winning Copa America, becoming #1 keeper at a club, best keeper in the league last season. Very happy for him. It just does. It was such a mistake. Honestly, such a mistake that the club let him go. Really, really was. Suppose Fab did confirm Lokonga. I would say that Fab did confirm it well after a couple of sources that you should be keeping your eye on, like Sasha Tavalieri. He tweeted it out confirming it. Charles Watts did as well. Fair few people did in that sphere before Fabrizio Romano. Romano, I follow. I trust a lot of the sources that he has, but he's not always the first. So do be wary about giving someone credit when there is information that has come out from other places well in advance. Just be wary of that. Thomas Alfred says, hi, Tom. Do you think we will be stuck with Willian another season? I don't think so. I think he will eventually leave. I think the club have an intention to get him out. We're just going to have to wait and see and be patient. There's a long time of the window still to go, so we will have to wait and see. Tim Jallo, we will have to wait and see if Willian is indeed in the pre-season squad. It wouldn't surprise me if he was, because at the moment there's no movement regarding a deal. So we will wait and see. Manuel says, Tielemans would be a hell of a signing to attract youngsters in the future. If you're looking at the amount of exciting under-25s that we have combined with the London pool, would you take him or Maddison? I mean, obviously, Tielemans plays central midfield. That'd be an amazing signing. I'd be shocked if Leicester let him leave, him specifically, leave for Arsenal. But they do let players leave if the right fee comes in. If it was a choice between Tielemans and Maddison, it's very close, because Tielemans would be a great centre midfielder for Arsenal to go out and sign. So There we go. That is it. Thoughts on Conor getting humbled? I mean, I didn't watch the fight. I haven't even seen the result. I'm assuming from that Conor lost. He just seems like it's so he lost. It just looks like it's done, really, doesn't it? It kind of looks like that career has run its course. But I don't know fighting that much. I watch the fights, but I'm really not into it like Ola. If you want to go and watch a really good channel about fighting, our good friend and regular podcaster Ola Black Scorpion 3 on Twitter does a great fighting channel. So make sure you go check that out. Let's scroll down a little bit more. Conor fractured his leg. Jesus Christ. I didn't know that. Jesus. Bougie says, are you nervous for today? Of course. Of course I'm nervous, but I'm really genuinely excited beyond measure. It's the greatest day in my life of watching England. It is the furthest we've ever gone in my lifetime. So it is an absolutely huge day. Finish work at 2:00 and then friends coming around for the final. It's going to be an amazing day. If I can get another show to you guys out this afternoon, if stuff happens, I'll try, but I can't promise anything because, as I say, there is a lot going on this afternoon. So no promises about a second show today whatsoever. The Smith says, says Gravenberch would be a top-class number 8 for us. Would you take him if he is available? I mean, if you can go get Gravenberch, that's an amazing signing. He's a brilliant young player. It's going to go for upwards of £40 million, I would estimate. Go and do it. Really amazing young player. It'd be great. But I doubt that will happen. I think it's a little bit, it's just a little bit too far-fetched to see Arsenal pushing for one of the most highly rated youngsters on the planet right now, it's fair to say. But, stranger things have happened. Alan says, Tom, would you take Basuma so we can go explore with Partey more, or have Neves, slightly similar kind of player to Partey? I think it's a tricky one. It's a good question because if you buy Basuma, you've got your number 6. You've got the guy that's going to be disciplined, sitting behind Partey and let him do his thing. If you buy Neves, you don't have that because he's a number 8 still, and he'll play alongside Partey. You could play Neves and Lokonga and Partey, with Lokonga playing kind of your more reserved role, or you could play Neves and Partey as a pivot and play with the number 10 in front of them, but that's a little bit more defensively open, only a little, because Neves' defensive qualities are good, so there is that. But neither Partey or Neves are out-and-out number 6s, and they shouldn't be used as such, in my opinion. If he is next season, proves me wrong, fair play. But I don't think either should be used. So I think you lose a lot from Thomas Partey's kind of progression of the ball, both on it and through his passing as well. So there you go. Channel says, how does Emi Martinez being sold by Arsenal make you feel? Why do we make these mistakes? It makes me feel... how does it make me feel? Regretful, I suppose, is the right words. It wasn't my decision to let him go. I understood why we let him go at the time, because there wasn't anyone coming in for Leno, and a big came in for a player that had played 12 games. It was very difficult to know that those 12 games were going to be an example of what was to come. It was very difficult to kind of bank on that. I mean, if you look at Joe Willock's loan deal, there are a lot of people that would still sell Joe Willock after having a great loan period of even more games than Emi Martinez had at Arsenal. So it's a real tricky one. You just don't know. You can have an Ainsley Maitland-Niles situation where you refuse a bid and then nothing happens with them, or you can have Emi Martinez where you accept a bid and they go on to be easily double that price now. I mean, he's easily doubled it, his value. So we will wait and see. But my feeling is regret. And why do we make these mistakes? Because we've got some inexperienced people in charge and they took a risk and it backfired. And also, you do have to take risks in football. Sometimes you take risks in sales. Sometimes you take risks in signings. So sometimes this will happen to any club. I mean, there are plenty of clubs. I mean, you look at Chelsea letting go of De Bruyne and Salah, etc. Like, it's just part and parcel of the game, even for the biggest clubs and most successful clubs on the planet. So you can't always know what is going to happen is going to happen. And obviously you look like an idiot when it does, but not everyone is a Gnabry, not everyone is a Martinez, not everyone is a Benassa or a Marlon. Some of the players are Amici or a Benicophobe. Like, they're not always going to be those players. Like, we let go of hundreds of players through the years that have never gone on to do anything. So you can't always, it's not always going to be like that. So there you go. Thoughts on Pjanic? Ganna Ed says, saw we were linked or interested in him. Yeah, interested specifically. My thoughts are, don't do it. He's 31 years of age, wrong age profile, on the way down, in a position that we need to kind of invest for the long term in. So I wouldn't go for that, to be honest. Drew says, I think we should move on from the whole Emi Martinez situation. Yes, the club made a mistake, but Emi's sample size of brilliant games was just too small. Yeah, Takuma Asano, we brought him in. Park Chu-young, remember him as well. Ryu Miichi, the Japanese player that came in from a high school in Japan, I think, at one point. And then he went off to play for St. Pauli in Germany. So, yeah, I mean, you never know what's going to happen to these players. You just never know. Anyway, we are going to wrap things up there, people. Thank you all so much for tuning in for our 69th episode and our first show in which we have made an official signing. Amazing news, and fingers crossed we can bring you plenty more of these shows in which we announce more signings too. It's been an absolute pleasure, guys, to speak to you. As always, drop a like on the video and subscribe if you're new, and turn those notifications on so you never miss a show with that join button just below it. If you want to help support the channel, you can, and therefore you can then join our Discord server as well, where it's constant chat all day, like it is in the chat box, 24/7. We'll see you again very soon, guys, and as always, up the Arsenal, and come on, England, it's coming home.